Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for those famous tunes that you maybe didn't know were talking about some famous people.
Now do you believe in rock and roll?
Number 20, Still Feel Like Your Man, John Mayer. While Mayer himself felt like it should be pretty obvious who he was talking about in Still Feel Like Your Man,
the prettiest girl in the room, she wants me. I know because she told me so.
there are those who may not have been paying as close attention to his love life prior to that.
I still keep your shampoo in my shower in case you want to wash your hair.
If you had been, then you would have known that he and Katy Perry spent 4 years on and off again from 2012 to 2016. And with that knowledge, yes, it now does seem pretty obvious that she is the ex he's talking about in the song. As Mayer put it, who else would I be thinking about? Number 19, Obsessed, Mariah Carey. Did Eminem and Mariah Carey ever date? The answer depends on who you ask. If you ask Eminem, the answer is a resounding yes. But ask Carey and you'll get a big fat no.
All up in the block, say we met at the bar when I don't even know you are.
The two went back and forth on this matter for years in the press and in song. Carey took on Eminem's obsession with her through her 2009 album, Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel. Just in case the lyrics aren't enough, Carey took all the guesswork out of it with the music video.
You're delusional, boy, you're losing your mind.
A video in which she plays two characters, herself and an obsessed gray hoodie-wearing, goateed Eminem. The rapper was also convinced the song was about him and released The Warning as a response just 6 weeks later.
But if I'm embarrassing me, I'm embarrassing you. And don't you dare say it isn't true. As long as that song's getting airplay, I'm dissing you.
Number 18, All Those Years Ago, George Harrison. John Lennon's murder in December of 1980 shocked and saddened the world.
I'm shouting all about love. Well, they cheated you like a dog.
While most people didn't have a way to express their love for Lennon to the world, some of his musician friends did exactly that. One such friend was his former bandmate George Harrison, who just 5 months after Lennon's death released All Those Years Ago.
We're living in a bad dream. They've forgotten all about mankind.
Originally written with different lyrics for Ringo Starr to sing, after Lennon's passing, Harrison rewrote it as a tribute to his friend. Another one of Lennon's good friends, Elton John, was hesitant to record a tribute song to his dear friend. But when he saw the lyrics Bernie Taupin presented him with for Empty Garden, Hey Hey Johnny, it was a no-brainer.
Got you come out to play in your empty garden.
Number 17, Love Bug, Jonas Brothers. While Nick Jonas has stated in the past that the song Love Bug is about really just falling in love with somebody, that somebody appears to be Miley Cyrus.
I felt so close, but you were far away.
The two Disney TV stars dated for about a year and a half from 2006 through December of 2007, a relationship that, according to Nick's brother Kevin, changed girls for Nick forever.
Now I'm speechless, over the edge and just breathless.
Although the song wasn't released until late 2008, Love Bug was written in 2007, while Nick and Miley were an item. During a time when Nick has said that he started writing about love, and I actually knew what it felt like. Number 16, Uptown Girl, Billy Joel. We know what you're thinking. Everyone knows this song is about Christy Brinkley.
Uptown girl, she's been living in her uptown world.
It's so obvious. Joel and Brinkley were married, and she's the Uptown Girl in the music video. Well, let's just say you're half right.
Uptown girl, you know I can't afford to buy her
The song did eventually become about Brinkley, but when Joel first wrote the track, he did so with a different supermodel in mind, Elle Macpherson. You see, prior to his marriage to supermodel Brinkley, Joel and Macpherson were an item, and it was she who was his girlfriend when he wrote the track. Number 15. Dude Looks Like a Lady, Aerosmith. As the story goes, one night Aerosmith was out in the town when lead singer Steven Tyler thought he saw a hot blonde woman.
Cruising to a bar on the shore. A picture graced the grime on the door.
However, it turned out that it wasn't a woman at all, but rather Motley Crue singer Vince Neil. This case of mistaken identity led to some ribbing from Tyler's bandmates, but it also eventually led to the writing of their hit single, Dude Looks Like a Lady. Motley Crue co-founder Nikki Sixx has also confirmed the accuracy of that story and Neil being the inspiration for the song. Number 14. Miss Jackson, Outcast. While calling the song Miss Right might have been more accurate, it sure doesn't have the same syllable-esque flow as Miss Jackson.
My baby is drama, mama, don't like me. She doing things like having the boys come from her neighborhood to the studio trying to fight me.
Why right, you ask? Well, because Erykah Badu's mother's name is Colleen Wright. But what does she have to do with it, you also ask? Well, Outcast's Andre 3000 dated Badu in the 90s, and they had a child out of wedlock together. Feeling the need to tell his side of the story, Andre wrote the song as an apology and explanation to Badu's mother.
Sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real.
You might remember the intro dedicates the song to baby's mama's mamas. If you didn't know it before, now you'll know it forever. Forever, ever. Forever, ever. Number 13. Ether, Nas. The hip-hop feud between Nas and Jay-Z was one of the biggest, most talked about in the history of the genre, and the musical pinnacles of said feud both came at the end of 2001. First, it was Jay-Z hitting Nas hard with his diss track, Takeover, from his album, The Blueprint.
You guys don't want it with hope. Ask Nas, he don't want it with hope. No.
But as hard as he hit, there are many who'd argue that Nas hit back even harder. 3 months after Takeover, Nas put out Ether. And to say he didn't hold back would be an understatement.
Who's the best? Pac, Nas, and Big. Ain't no best. East, west, north, south, floor style greetings.
It's been called a diss song classic and was so influential that Ether has become a hip-hop slang term for destroying an opponent in a rap battle.
Ask me if I'm trying to kick knowledge. Nah, I'm trying to kick the shit you need to learn though. That ether, that shit that make your soul burn slow.
Number 12. All of Me, John Legend. Given that Legend wrote this song while he was engaged to Chrissy Teigen, and she is also in the music video, which they filmed days before their wedding in Italy, this song better be about Teigen.
What would I do without your smart mouth? Drawing me in and you kicking me out.
And no surprises here, the me, that is all of Legend, is indeed Teigen.
'Cause all of me loves all of you.
But while she initially was extremely moved and touched by Legend's musical dedication to her, she has since heard the song so much that it no longer has the same impact as it once did.
And you give me all of you.
Number 11. Man on the Moon, REM. No veiled references or possible misinterpretations with this one. Michael Stipe wrote this song about Andy Kaufman. The band had already composed the music, and as the recording sessions were coming to a close, Stipe still hadn't mastered the words. However, while taking a walk around Seattle, the music playing through his Walkman headphones, everything finally came together.
And Baby, did you hear about this one? Tell me, are you locked in the pond?
The references to Kaufman's work, from his wrestling career to his Elvis impersonations, and the titular metaphor comparing conspiracy theories regarding the moon landing to those claiming Kaufman faked his 1984 death.
If you believe they put a man on the moon, man on the moon.
Movie fans will also note Jim Carrey's 1999 Andy Kaufman biopic took its title from the song as well. Number 10, Crimea River, Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears dated from 1999 until March of 2002. Then, in November of that same year, Timberlake released his first solo album, and the second single from said album was Crimea River.
So you took a chance, made other plans.
The song, about a guy who moves on after having his heart broken, was widely assumed to be about his recent breakup with Spears. Although he might have tried to deny it at the time, no one was buying it.
Told me you love me, why did you leave me all alone?
Especially after the music video came out featuring a Spears lookalike, as well as Easter egg references to his ex's iconic newsboy hat and her tattoo. Number 9, Pride in the Name of Love, U2. There is a world where we are all talking about this song as being about President Ronald Reagan and his pride in his country's military might.
One man come in the name of love.
But we don't live in that world because a couple of books about civil rights leaders Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X focused Bono's attention on the two sides of the movement. This led to King being the focus of U2's 1984 hit, Pride in the Name of Love.
Shut rings out in the Memphis sky.
While Bono has since talked about his dissatisfaction with the all too simplistic lyrics, the song is one of the band's biggest hits and made the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's list of 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. Number 8, Hurricane, Bob Dylan.
Pistol shots ring out in a barroom night. Enter Betty Valentine from the upper hall.
In 1967, boxer Reuben Hurricane Carter was wrongly convicted of a triple homicide and sentenced to life in prison in New Jersey. While behind bars, Carter wrote an autobiography called The 16th Round. It was this book that inspired Bob Dylan to write his protest song about Carter and his wrongful imprisonment.
Here's the story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame.
The song was a hit and brought Carter's story to the attention of a wider audience and led to a growing movement of support and calls for his release. While Carter did get a new trial in 1976, he was once again convicted. It wasn't until 1985 that he was finally let out after being granted a writ of habeas corpus.
Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world.
Number 7, Youre So Vain, Carly Simon. In case you were thinking that the song was about you, it isn't.
Your hat strategically dipped below one eye.
Well, unless you're Warren Beatty and possibly two other men. The subject of Simon's number 1 hit song has been a much talked about mystery ever since its release in 1972.
You had me several years ago.
For years, Simon remained very coy about the whole thing, refusing to name names and then slowly only giving out letters from their name. Then in 2015, she finally confirmed that Warren Beatty was the subject of the song's second verse. Although in wonderfully coy Carly fashion, she also said, now that doesn't mean that the other 2 verses aren't also about Warren. It just means the second one is. Number 6, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, Pink Floyd.
Remember when you were young?
While he may not be a household name, to Pink Floyd fans, Syd Barrett is a key figure in music history. For those who don't know, Barrett was one of the co-founders of the band, the lead singer and primary songwriter for about the first 3 years of Pink Floyd's existence. However, due to his use of psychedelic drugs and deteriorating mental health, Barrett was dismissed from the group in 1968. This wasn't something the other band members did happily, and Barrett remained an important piece of all of them. So much so that in 1975, they created Shine On You Crazy Diamond, a 25-minute, 9-part track on their Wish You Were Here album, as a tribute to their friend.
Come on, you painter, you piper, you person.
Number 5. Go Your Own Way, Fleetwood Mac. Imagine singing backup vocals on a song written by your pained ex-boyfriend about your breakup.
If I could, baby, I'd give you my world.
Nope, we can't imagine it either. But that's exactly what Stevie Nicks had to do on Go Your Own Way. The song, written by Lindsey Buckingham, was the first single off the now iconic album Rumors.
You can go your own way.
As Buckingham explained, I was completely devastated when she took off. There was a lot of pent-up frustration and anger towards Stevie and me for many years. Frustrations that all came out in this admittedly very catchy song. Number 4. Hey Jude, The Beatles.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad.
Had Paul McCartney stuck with the track's original title, it would probably be more well known who this song is talking to. In 1968, John Lennon and his first wife Cynthia separated over Lennon's love affair with Yoko Ono.
Take a sad song and make it better.
McCartney, quote, always feels sorry for kids in divorces, and wrote this song as words of comfort to Lennon's then 5-year-old son, Julian. When he first wrote the song, McCartney was singing Hey Jules, but he would eventually switch it to Jude because he thought that sounded a bit better. Number 3. Candle in the Wind, Elton John.
Goodbye, Norma Jean. No, I never knew you at all.
There are going to be some people who are expecting us to talk about how this song was written in honor and remembrance of Princess Diana. However, that version of the song, known as Candle in the Wind 1997, was a rewritten version of Elton John's original Candle in the Wind from 1974.
And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind.
That song is an ode and tribute to another iconic woman, Marilyn Monroe. Lyricist Bernie Taupin has said that while it is about Monroe, it could have been about anyone who died young and sort of became this iconic picture. It's a beauty frozen in time. A sentiment that decades later obviously connected perfectly to the passing of Lady Di.
Candle burned out long before. Legend never did.
Number 2. Layla, Derek and the Dominoes.
What'll you do when you get lonely? Nobody's waiting by your side.
The Derek and the Dominoes song Layla was partially inspired by a 7th century Persian love story, a story that spoke rather strongly to Eric Clapton and the position he found himself in at the time. Namely the fact that he was secretly in love with Patty Boyd, who just so happened to be the wife of his friend George Harrison. Boyd and Harrison eventually had a very amicable divorce, and in 1979, she and Clapton tied the knot. Although they were dating, Clapton wrote another song for Boyd, Wonderful Tonight.
I say, my darling, you are wonderful tonight.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. American Pie, Don McLean.
A long, long time ago, I can still remember.
You might have heard about the 1959 plane crash that took the lives of rock stars Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper J.P. Richardson, referred to as the day the music died. Well, it became known as such because that is how Don McLean poetically referred to it in his 1971 song, American Pie.
So bye-bye, Miss American Pie.
As for the rest of the song, it is a general impressionistic allusion to the changes that took place throughout the tumultuous 1960s, but began on that fateful day in 1959.
Them good old boys are drinking whiskey and rye, singing this will be the day that I die.
American Pie was the first single released off of McLean's similarly titled album. The second single, Vincent, a song McLean wrote in tribute to Vincent van Gogh.
They would not listen, they're not listening still.
Did any of these song subjects surprise you? Let us know in the comments.
And the seventh thing I hate the most that you do.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.